So this was a thriving port city, founded by the Jewish people. Talk about some of the other things. I guess this would be a Roman context, Elliot, but we have the amphitheater, obviously, and the hippodrome.
First of all, again, he builds it as a Roman city, even though it's Israel.
Dedicated to Augustus Caesar.
Dedicated
right?
to Augustus, to his friend.
His good friend, yeah.
Right. There's actually a temple to Augustus that was built up there, which was the building that you would see from a distance. The theater, of course, is not an amphitheater, by the way. This is a theater.
Ah, okay.
Amphitheaters are for blood sports. This was theater.
Being here at the ancient hippodrome in Caesarea, I can't help but think of the Ben-Hur movies and those legendary chariot race scenes. Now, in this site, in the hippodrome 2,000 years ago, we had those very same kinds of chariot races, and you'd have, on these seats here, you'd have influential Romans and Jews taking it all in on the shores of the Mediterranean. Now, we had, obviously, Apostle Paul, one great disciple, had some significant history here, Pastor. Also, the Apostle Peter spent some time here in Caesarea. Can you talk about a little bit, which had a Gentile connection as well, I believe.
Right.
Can you talk a bit about what Peter did here in the city?
Well, Peter has this vision. Cornelius, he goes to Cornelius' house and he has this vision of this tablecloth coming down, which actually was probably a tallit, and he sees on this prayer shawl different kinds of unclean meat, and then all of a sudden Peter begins to understand that really has to do with the gospel being available for the Gentiles as well, and begins to go to Cornelius' house and share the gospel, and all of a sudden everything transposes there, and we see people, again, Gentiles, accepting the gospel of Jesus Christ from a Judeo-Christian heritage, Judeo-Christian faith. All of that coming together, Eric, is what I love about this area right here. Peter, Paul, they didn't have pushback in this area. They took the faith that they had, that they loved, Judaism, and they just kept playing it forward, because Jesus didn't come to wipe it away. He came to fill it full.
One of the things that Herod did when he built the hippodrome is that he built the outer seats lower so the people sitting here could see the ocean. Now, Herod loved water. He was crazy about water. He loved to swim, he loved to dive, he loved to drown people. Anything having to do with water.
Including one of his own sons, right? Didn't he?
Yeah. He loved. There's actually a swimming pool here in the palace. Imagine what it means to have a swimming pool on the beach. Okay? That's the kind of guy we're dealing with. But again, it becomes a Roman city afterwards. Because it's a port and it's a direct contact to Rome. And a few centuries later, during the Bar Kokhba rebellion, 132 to 135, against Hadrian, this is where the spiritual leader of the rebellion, Rabbi Akiva, is executed by the Romans.
And then the dispersion, obviously, of the Jewish people really
Well,
was...
Constantine after that.
Yes. Up next, a group of our Kufi partners recently joined us on a tour of Israel, and it was an experience they will not forget. Neither will I. See how Israel and Kufi are changing lives after the break. Only right here on TBN.